Hey ladies, it's Kate and Judy here. And
Happy Friday.
happy Friday.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
Got a weekend coming up.
I know. So we were talking just a minute ago, really about what like the underbelly and what the behind the scenes stuff really looks like as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And we wanted to get just very honest and just kind of just real about like what the truth of being an entrepreneur really is.
And really what it takes. Because, I was saying it's like, if you want to get depressed this weekend, hang out on Facebook.
Go to Facebook and like hang out in all of like the other Facebook groups with all of the other coaches, and like, not to say that sometimes we're not inspired by that.
Oh, of course.
But that can, if we allow ourselves to get into the comparison despair, it can get pretty ugly real fast.
Well, there's just a lot of conversation out there about, making 10K a month and making 20K a month, and I did this and, and
Had
X
my
number of
first
time.
six-figure launch, and
Yeah, and and it's all great and it's all wonderful that people are having success, and we love that. And yet there's so much more than meets the eye there, is the truth of it. I mean, we really have to ask ourselves, well, I mean, one of the things that we say, and we know, is that there is no such thing as overnight success.
Yeah.
That really, when you look at the people who have actually really made it in this industry or in any industry in life, it didn't just happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 6 months from beginning to end,
And what we're honestly most interested in is staying power. Anyone, if just the truth of it is that anybody can have like a 10K month. And, often
Absolutely.
what we see is like new coaches, they get like certified, or, they start doing their work and they put it out there, and the warm market of people around them, their friends, their family, acquaintances, like anybody can book clients just like right off the bat.
And get to that 10K, really,
And then if
in
like
that first month.
And then, what we see is like so many amazing coaches who are so great at what they do totally crash and burn after like the initial success, because they're not, they haven't like put the structures and the systems in place, and they just haven't been around long enough.
Or they're in the process of putting the structures
Totally.
and systems in place. And it's like, so Kate, I think what you're talking about is like, we all have this closer inner circle where initially we kind of begin to reach out to. And then there's referrals, and there's a little bit more of an outer circle. But our guess is that probably you are in the place of reaching out to the larger circle, which is, the World Wide Web, the internet. And it's pretty worldly and widely, and it's a web of people.
Yeah.
And so it takes time. And I think this is what we really just, want to just, we've been there, we're still there.
Yeah.
We're still like building and growing, and, we always will be.
Well, and like, just to share with you some of our journey, we became certified coaches 4.5 years ago. Within 6 months, both of us basically like forced ourselves to leave our bridge jobs.
Yeah.
I was waitressing at the time. I worked nights.
Yeah.
Judy was a nurse. And
I worked days.
She worked days, and then we would like squeeze in our coaching clients and like workshops and all the stuff that we were doing at the time to build our business. We would squeeze that in around our work schedules, and it was interesting because for me, at the time, I remember feeling like inauthentic to be a coach and to be talking to other people about how to live this really great life and how to live their dream life. And then I would go to work in the evenings and I would be clearing people's dirty dishes.
You would serve food. Yeah.
And I remember feeling so inauthentic. And so basically, out of like sheer force of will, we both left our jobs. And that's not.
And it might have been a little bit sooner than would how we felt comfortable at the
Yeah.
time. Honestly, we're two people. We've got two different households, And
to
so,
maintain
to
and
maintain,
to fund.
absolutely.
And we have, a business to invest in. And I think that this is kind of our bigger message right now is that, all of us have different journeys, and all of us really need to make the decisions that are right for us in any given moment. But the biggest thing that we really stand for is that to be an entrepreneur, what was it that you were saying? She said like the best thing
I
before
said,
is that,
okay, you cannot fail unless you quit.
yeah,
And it's only those who quit who fail.
yeah.
I mean, think about that for a moment. It's totally true. Have there been times where we looked at each other and said, yeah, this is really hard, but there's never been a time, and I'm really proud of this about you and me, Kate, is that there's never been a time where we said, I think it's time to throw in the towel.
Let's throw in the towel.
We always, there's always another step. There's always another desire, that's bubbling inside that says, no, I know that I am meant to do this work in the world. And we know that's you too.
Yeah.
And so it's like really this message of whatever you need to do. It's like, have we invested in our coaching programs and our own growth?
And in our business.
Exactly. And in our
Really?
business, very highly. And was it always comfortable? Absolutely not.
And did it always yield the kind of results that we wanted? Honestly, probably none of them yielded the full results that we were hoping for. And we've just had to get really good with our own minds and with our own hearts to know that this is a journey and there is no overnight success. Yes. It really is, if you look at anyone out there in this industry that you admire, they have all put things on credit cards. They have all gotten to the end of the month and been like, holy shit, how am I going to pay my bills?
How is this all going to come together?
How is this all
We've been there a few times.
Oh, we've totally been there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, all of these successful entrepreneurs, if you look at Chris Carr, Marie Forleo, Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins, Kate and Judy Moon,
yes,
we have all been right there on the verge of bankruptcy,
on the edge,
and holy shit, how are we going to pay our bills? And then and then we do have the 10K month. So that's the real truth, is that it can be this roller coaster.
Yeah.
And what we want to say for you is that it's not a reflection of who you are, the kind of coach that you are, the kind of skills that you have, or even it's not indicative of what's coming for you in the future. And
it's part of what it is required for you to actually be generating those 10, 20, 30, 50 and more K months, is that this grows you.
Yeah.
And who you become in this process of getting to the end of that month and going, okay, I don't know how this is all going to come together here, but guess what? We can get really resourceful really quickly when we have to.
Yeah.
And that's what grows you. And it's really, and that builds the confidence. And you become that woman who is generating the 10, the 20, the 30, the 50K months, and it's because it's not that the money came first. Mm-hmm. It's that you developed yourself to a place where you were actually a vibrational frequency for those numbers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just happen like a snap of the fingers easy. It just doesn't. And and we're not here to be discouraging at all. We're here to really say that there's not one successful coach out there, Tony Robbins, Marie Forleo, all the ones that, Kate named and more, every single one of us, that has not been there. And what made them different, and there's the cat.
Hi, Beanie.
What
he's like, yes.
He agrees.
Preach.
He says, yes, go for it, girls. I know. But what separates the girls from the women are those that don't quit.
Yeah.
And that we just keep on
It's
going.
like the inner fortitude, it's the resiliency, it's the I'm not giving up because I know that I was made for this. And I think our biggest message here today is that it's not a reflection on you. It's not that you through your thinking, I attracted this into my reality. It's like the law of attraction. It's, we totally agree in the law of attraction,
Yeah.
totally live our lives, working our best to be in accordance with it. And sometimes, so many women we see, they're like, oh, I haven't created this for myself. Like, I just have these money blocks. It's like I have these huge wealth consciousness issues. And oftentimes
No, you do.
there's a lot of stuff that we have to work through. And sometimes it's that you just simply haven't had enough time.
The people don't know you yet. You haven't been around the block enough, and that you're
getting the
you're getting
structures.
around the block right now
Yeah.
with your structures.
Yep.
And it really is, and I love this. This is like my new favorite saying here. Is it's about managing expectations. That let's get really real here. It's not the overnight success. It's something that you're building over time, and that your body of work, it deserves to be built over time.
Yeah.
It's that deep and it's that important, and we know that about you. And so, do we reach out for support? Sometimes, it is getting some help with the sales page. Sometimes it is working on your wealth consciousness. Sometimes it just is getting up again this morning and taking the next step and taking the next step. And only those that quit are going to be those that fail.
And so don't make yourself
Wrong.
or don't make yourself the exception. That
Yes.
that all these other people, like, they've managed to figure it out. They've all gotten there, but somehow you're special in the fact that, like, oh, I can't figure it out.
I'm the only one that's struggling.
Yeah. If you look behind the scenes of every successful person out there, you're going to see a lot of false starts. You're going to see a lot of stumbling. You're going to see probably a lot of credit card debt.
And some mistakes.
Yep.
Whatever that means.
And it's not really, I don't think that we have ever seen, the different twists and turns that we've been on as mistakes so much as just part of the journey.
It's the navigation process, take a left. Nah, I think I want to veer right the next time
Yeah.
I make this decision.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And so one thing that we see so much of is that, like, a coach goes out and they get, like, their certification, and then they're like, oh, well, I need to make money before I can invest in anything else. And the truth of it is that if that's really your mentality, either you will fail, or it will just take you so much longer to make the money required to then go out and get the support that you need. So we just really want to encourage you that, like, oftentimes people don't talk about this kind of stuff. They don't talk about what's on their credit cards. They don't talk about the loans that they've taken out. They don't talk about, oh, it's not even on my credit card. It's on my boyfriend's credit card, or my husband's credit card, or my parents' credit card. They don't talk about that stuff.
Well, and one of the reasons why is because we as coaches, we put on this like mask, this facade that, like, okay, now that I'm a coach, guess what? I'm perfect. Well, guess what?
And I need to portray myself as perfect.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm supposed to have all the answers. It's
Yeah.
like, for me, when I was waiting tables, and I felt like I can't be waiting tables and be a successful coach because it's like conflicting messages. Now, for me, there was a piece of authenticity in that it really, I really felt to my core that I needed to be doing this. It wasn't just about, it was really about my message and me, like, coming from my authenticity. But, we all have, like, fights with our spouses. We have relationship challenges that go on. We might have health challenges go on. We might have a lower income kind of month. We might have personal stuff that comes up, and we will.
Well, and actually that's, going full circle here.
Yeah.
Is that it's the personal stuff that gets in our way, that we often think that it is something outside of us, that it happens to be the block. I mean, the sales page isn't together, or it's, it's whatever. And it's that personal stuff that gets in our way. And those blocks are what are keeping you from really stepping into that next step for you. And so, that's a piece that like we are so passionate about, that we really take a stand for. And
so it's not about, all of this is not about judging you. It's not a reflection of you. It's not it's not something that, and this is why we wanted to talk about it, because it's not talked about enough. And then we make up stories about what's going on when sometimes it's just, we need to just have the staying power. You just need to stick through it. And
Just hang in there.
yeah, one of my favorite stories is from the Odyssey.
Okay.
And it was the sailors.
The historian,
The historian has
here.
to jump in with
Yes,
some sort
I love
of,
it.
yeah, so from the Odyssey.
Yes.
Odysseus was on his way trying to get home for like 10 years. He had, like,
Can you imagine?
couldn't stop for directions.
10 years.
Typical guy.
Typical guy. 10
So
years.
he's trying to get home to Ithaca, and he has all these adventures along the way, and one of them is going through a particular area where the sirens hang out. So these women that
love
sing
this.
these songs and lure sailors to their death by jumping into, trying to get to these women, these sirens. And so these sailors, they had to tie themselves to the mast of the ship in order to get through this particular strait in the ocean. And that's what they had to do. So it's like, when the waves and the winds and the storms come at us in life, sometimes it's just about tying ourselves to the mast, getting back to our vision, remembering why you came here in the first place. And what we know about you is that, you feel to your core that this is your work to do, and this is meant for you. That's what we know about you. This is your work to do. You are the only one that can speak your message, that can champion the people whose lives you are meant to help transform. So this is meant for you. We all have stumbles and temper tantrums along the way, and that's perfectly normal. And if you come out of this with a few bumps and bruises and more credit card debt than you would prefer, welcome to the club. And it's just the way that it is, and it's perfectly fine. So we just really want to acknowledge that and just speak it out, because
Absolutely.
this needs to be talked about more
Yes.
in this industry.
So before we end this,
Yeah.
it's the hospice nurse and me.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the historian, we've got the hospice nurse here. It's the hospice nurse and me that sat at the bedside with so many people, so many wonderful souls, and who have reaching the end of their life, and we have conversations, and they're looking back and wishing that they had more time. I mean, there's never a good time to leave this world, I don't think. I don't think most of us are not saying, yes, this is a great time. Life wants us to live more. And so, I know I made a decision that I never wanted to get to the end of my life, and wished that I had not stepped up to playing a bigger game, to get onto that bigger stage, whatever that stage, that bigger stage is, to really bring my gifts to the world and my message. And I know that's true for you. And to imagine getting to the end of your life and be able to look back and feel like, something, I'm really proud of myself. I did that. I was scared. I didn't know how it was all going to work out, but I knew that I took those risks, and in the process, I actually, made a difference in a lot of people's lives.
I did what I came here to do.
I did what I came here to do.
Yeah.
And so now I can rest my head on the pillow with peace. And that's what, it's, some people talk about the rocking chair test. Well, I guess I call it the head on the pillow test, but it's the truth. So that's what we wish for you, because we know that you are here for something really great.
Yeah.
And we believe in you.
So just keep going. You got this.
Keep on rocking it.
Lots of love, girls. Bye.
Bye.